Hi, it's Chris, CSJ Code from systemsarchitect.io and codeguides.io. In this video, we'll be discussing 20 Amazon Athena strategies. Amazon Athena lets you query data straight from S3 with plain SQL and no servers to run. But because you pay for every byte scanned, a careless setup can turn a simple query into a slow, expensive one. Lay your data out well, and Athena becomes a fast, cheap, serverless analytics engine that scales to petabytes without any infrastructure to manage. This guide covers 20 practical strategies for getting the most out of Amazon Athena, spanning performance, cost control, data layout, security, and governance. 20 Amazon Athena strategies. 1. Partitioning data. 2. Columnar data formats. 3. Use of compression. 4. Query cost monitoring. 5. Limit data scanned. 6. Optimize table design. 7. Avoid complex joins. 8. Encryption. 9. Access control. 10. AWS Glue Data Catalog. 11. Integration with Amazon QuickSight. 12. Data governance. 13. Data lifecycle management. 14. Use of concurrent query execution. 15. Distributed query execution. 16. Query execution plan analysis. 17. Error handling. 18. Adopt best practices for S3 data management. 19. Regularly update data formats and partitions. 20. Machine learning with Amazon SageMaker. 1. Partitioning data. Partitioning splits your data in S3 into folders based on a column like date, region, or customer, so Athena can skip everything that does not match your query. Because Athena bills you by the amount of data scanned, reading only the relevant partitions cuts both query time and cost dramatically. Be careful not to over-partition into millions of tiny files, since that creates its own overhead. Done well, partitioning is the single biggest lever you have for a faster, cheaper query. 2. Columnar data formats. Storing your data in a columnar format like Apache Parquet or Partner instead of every row in full. This slashes the volume of data scanned, which lowers cost and speeds up execution on wide tables. Athena now supports Apache Iceberg as well, giving you schema evolution and row-level updates on top of columnar storage. 3. Use of compression. Applying compression to your columnar files, such as Snappy for Parquet, reduces the number of bytes Athena has to read from S3. Since you are billed on data scanned, smaller files mean lower cost and faster queries at the same time. Snappy is the common default because it is splittable, while Zstandard can compress even tighter. It is a small configuration change with an outsized effect on both speed and spend. 4. Query cost monitoring. Why watch your Athena spend? Because Athena charges per terabyte scanned. Watching your spend is essential to avoid a surprise bill. Use AWS Cost Explorer or CloudWatch to track usage and set alarms that page you when costs cross a threshold. Workgroups let you set data scanned limits per team or per query, capping runaway costs before they happen. Review the heaviest queries regularly and optimize or partition the tables behind them. 5. Limit data scanned. The fastest way to a cheaper query is simply to scan less, so select only the columns you need instead of using select star. Add where filters on partition columns so Athena prunes whole chunks of data before it reads anything. Every byte you do not scan is money you do not spend and time you do not wait. Thinking in terms of bytes scanned rather than rows returned is the mindset that keeps Athena cheap. 6. Optimize table design. A well-designed table sets every query up to succeed, so choose partition keys that match how your data is actually filtered. Pair those partitions with an efficient columnar format so Athena reads the minimum data on each query. Good table design locks in performance and cost savings before a single query runs. I should mention, this presentation is a condensed version of the complete article on blog.systemsarchitect.io. View the full blog article with more details there. Views Elmix so punty dia. In this video, we'll be discussing 20 Amazon Athena strategies. Interreaded by key peers and J3, and pressured by question marks in 10 to 3 Higgs, 7-1 Procal. Some sending requirements here constantly keep viewing PA. You actually want to weave it in the web's network, where the client recovers second leg victims. Otherwise, you can actually comfortably integrate the schema into Amazon QuickSight. Connecting Athena to Amazon QuickSight turns your raw query results into interactive dashboards and visual reports. Business users can then explore data and answer their own questions without writing a line of SQL. QuickSight's Spice in-memory engine caches results so dashboards stay fast and do not rescan S3 on every view, which also controls cost. 12. Data governance. Governance is about knowing what data you have, how it is structured, and how it changes over time. Use the AWS Glue Data Catalog to track schema versions so you can see when a column was added, renamed, or dropped. Combine this with Lake Formation for cataloged permissions and a full audit trail of access. Without governance, a growing data lake slowly turns into a data swamp no one trusts. 13. Data Lifecycle Management. Not all data deserves to sit on premium storage forever, so use S3 Lifecycle policies to age it automatically. Transition older, less queried data to cheaper tiers like S3 Infrequent Access or Glacier, and expire it when it is no longer needed. Align the rules with how far back your queries actually reach, so hot data stays fast and cold data stays cheap. Just remember that data moved to archival tiers is not instantly queryable. 14. Use of concurrent query execution. Athena runs many queries at the same time, which is ideal for busy teams and dashboards that fire off requests in parallel. To handle that concurrency smoothly, make sure your data is well partitioned so no single query hogs resources. Keep in mind the default limits on concurrent queries and the 30-minute maximum runtime for any one query. 15. Distributed query execution. Under the hood, Athena spreads each query across many nodes that read and process your data in parallel. You get that distributed power automatically, but only well-partitioned, well-sized data lets it be used to the fullest. When data is skewed or trapped in a few huge files, some nodes sit idle while others do all the work. Even file sizes and sensible partitions keep every node busy and the query fast. Amazon is locking up 90 errats with new features yet to provide where the time and data are going. Use Explain and Explain Analyze to see how Athena will scan, join, and aggregate before you commit to an expensive run. Look for full table scans, giant joins, or a single stage that dominates the runtime. Then target that bottleneck directly. 17. Error handling. Robust error handling keeps your data pipelines resilient when a query fails or returns something unexpected. Read Athena's error messages closely, since they usually point straight at the cause, whether a schema mismatch, a bad partition, or a syntax slip. Build retries and clear failure paths into any automation that runs Athena queries, so a transient hiccup does not break the whole job. Treat errors as signals to refine your data and queries over time. 18. Adopt best practices for S3 data management. Since Athena reads directly from S3, the health of your buckets is the health of your queries. Avoid scattering tiny files everywhere and compact them where you can so Athena reads fewer, larger objects. A tidy, well-governed S3 layout is the quiet foundation that makes everything above it perform. 19. regularly update data formats and partitions. How often should you revisit your layout? Your data and your query patterns change over time, so the layout that was optimal last year may be holding you back today. Revisit your partitioning scheme as data grows, since a partition that was fine at gigabytes can become too coarse at terabytes. Keep converting new data to efficient columnar formats and recompact older data when it helps. Treating data layout as something you maintain keeps performance and cost in check as you scale. 20. Machine learning with Amazon SageMaker. Athena can call Amazon SageMaker machine learning models directly from a SQL query, so you can score data right where it already lives. Using external function syntax, you point a query at a SageMaker inference endpoint and get predictions back as just another column. This lets analysts run anomaly detection, forecasting, or classification without moving data out to a separate pipeline. It turns Athena from a pure query engine into a bridge between your data lake and your models. Taken together, these 20 strategies turn Athena from a convenient query tool into a fast, economical, and well-governed analytics engine for your whole data lake. The through line is that in Athena, you pay for what you scan, so nearly every win comes from reading less data. Partition it, store it columnar, compress it, and filter hard. Layer on disciplined cost monitoring, tight security with encryption and IAM, and solid governance through the Glue Data Catalog. Start with the high-impact data layout basics, since partitioning and columnar formats pay off on every single query, and Athena will stay fast and cheap for the long haul. Thanks for watching, and good luck building. Well, that does it for now. Hope you got something out of this video. Find a lot more articles and guides on both systemsarchitect.io and codeguides.io. That's systemsarchitect.io and codeguides.io.